Picture this. You've traveled back in time, and you're a teenager again. You're sitting in your health class, and whichever teacher they managed to rope into this pulls out a banana and a condom and says, "Here it is, your sex ed class." Now, chances are, whatever came next probably wasn't a super comprehensive overview of the latest sexuality science, and teenage you might have been left scratching your head about many aspects of sexuality. Now, non-comprehensive sex education is just one of the many ways that people fail to receive information or even receive misinformation about sexuality. But why is that important? Well, previous research suggests that holding accurate beliefs about sexuality is important for sexual outcomes. So if people hold inaccurate beliefs about sexuality, they could be at risk for sexual problems. Identifying who's most at risk of endorsing inaccurate beliefs about sexuality is key so that sex researchers can target our interventions to the people who need them the most. So for my master's thesis, I wanted to understand who was most at risk of endorsing myths about sexuality and to examine how endorsing myths about sexuality is linked to sexual outcomes. So in my study, 4,428 people completed an online survey where they reported on a range of their demographic information. Next, participants rated their agreement with a range of statements about sexuality. But unbeknownst to participants, these statements were actually myths about sexuality, like masturbation is unhealthy or orgasm equals good sex. Lastly, participants reported on their sexual satisfaction, relationship satisfaction, and sexual distress. We found that being assigned male at birth, identifying as cisgender, identifying as heterosexual, holding more conservative political views, being more religious, and having ever taken a human sexuality course in college all significantly predicted greater endorsement of sexuality myths. Next, we found that greater endorsement of sexuality myths significantly predicted lower sexual satisfaction, lower relationship satisfaction, and higher sexual distress. So what does this all mean? Well, this study is the first study to identify which demographic factors are most relevant to holding inaccurate beliefs about sexuality, and my findings will allow sex researchers to target our knowledge translation interventions to the people most at risk of holding beliefs that could be detrimental for their sexual outcomes. Ultimately, it's key for sex researchers to continue battling myth understandings about sexuality within society in order to promote a more evidence-based approach to sexuality within society, as opposed to a banana and a condom approach alone. Thank you so much.